All right, 3.6 guided practice, going to be doing the odds. So we start off with a number 1. So I have the answer key to the right. So what we need to do is, since this says this is parallel, we keep the slope the same. So in this equation, slope is 3. So my m is equal to 3. I have to find my b. So I do that by using these points and that slope. So what I'll do is I'll just plug it into y equals mx plus b, and I'll get 2 is equal to 3 times 3 plus b. 3 times 3 is 9. So I'll minus 9 from each side, and I'll get b is equal to 7. So now that I have this m and this b, I just plug that in the slope-intercept form. So y is going to be equal to 3x. I'm sorry, there should be a negative. Plus a negative 7 or minus 7. So we check our answer. We're good to go on that one. All right, then we are going to go to number 3. So it's parallel, so I'm going to use negative 1/4 as my slope. So my slope is negative 1/4. Looking for my b. I'm going to use these points here. So 6 is going to be equal to negative 1/4 times negative 8 plus b. Some of you can probably do that in your head, but fractions are evil. So I'm going to do 1 divided by 4. And that's going to give me, well, negative 1 divided by 4, so a negative 0.25. And I'm going to multiply that by negative 8, and that gives me 2. So 6 is going to be equal to 2 plus b, minus 2 on each side. b is going to be equal to 4. Use these two right here. Y is going to be equal to negative 1/4 x plus 4. And we're good to go on that one. All right, 5. Same slope. We're in y equals format, so that's good. So my m here is going to be 3/2. So I don't need this, so I just use my points, plug it into y equals mx plus b form. So negative 5 is going to be equal to 3/2 times 10 plus b. Again, hate fractions, so in my calculator, I literally just do 3 divided by 2 and hit enter. So that's 1.5 times 10. It's going to be 15. So negative 5 is going to be equal to 15 plus b. So I'm going to need to subtract 15 from each side. So b is going to be equal to negative 20. So if b is equal to negative 20, when I write my equation, y is going to be equal to 2/3 x minus 20. Check my answer, and we're good to go on these 3. All right, 7. This one, it says the lines are parallel. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it doesn't. It's saying determine whether the graphs of the given equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So explain. Here's the trick. Put it in slope-intercept form first, right? You got to do that. So the first one's in slope-intercept, and the second one here, I'm going to have to add 4x to each side. So it'll be y is equal to a positive 4x minus 13. So now I'm done with this right here because I've put it in the slope-intercept. And I look at my slopes. That slope is 4. That slope is 4. They are parallel. Say that 10 times fast. Now, in order to explain it, all you would need to say is slopes are the same. We look at number 9. Got to get both these in the y equals format, so the second one is not. So what I'm going to have to do is add x to both sides. What I'm left with is 6y is equal to x plus 12. And as you can see, I'm putting the x first, just because that's the slope-intercept form. Then I need to divide by 6. So I'm dividing everything by 6. So that cancels out there. y is going to be equal to, now remember there's a 1 right there, so I can just do 1/6 x and then plus 2. Now the only thing that I'm interested in this entire thing is this positive 1/6. I'm done with this equation right here. So the slope of this line is -6. The slope of this line is a positive 1/6. These are opposite reciprocals, meaning if I do the opposite reciprocal, the opposite of -6 is 6, and this is just a number over 1. So if the opposite and the reciprocal is a positive 1/6, which is what that equals, so they are perpendicular. Let's see if I got them right. Parallel and perpendicular. So we're good to go there. 11. We're writing a line that goes through the graph and is perpendicular. So when I look at my first equation, it's in y equals format, and I know that the slope is 1/3. So because it is perpendicular, this slope needs to be the opposite and the reciprocal. So my m is the opposite of 1/3 is a -1/3. The reciprocal of a -1/3 is a -3. Then we got to find b. So I don't need the rest of that. I just need these 2 points. So I'm going to plug those in. 7 is going to be equal to 5. Sorry, not 5. I mean, it will be, but our slope is -3 times 5 plus b. 7 will then be equal to -15 plus b. So I'm going to add 17 to both sides, and b is going to be equal to 22. So my equation should be y is equal to -3x plus 22. Check my answer, and this is number 11. Y is equal to -3x plus 22. Do the same thing for 13, except for this is not in y equals mx plus b form. So I need to minus 3x to both sides. So y is going to be equal to a -3x plus 5. So I can cancel this out right here because I rewrote it. I know the slope of this right here is -3. The opposite of that would be a +3. And the reciprocal of that would be a 1/3. So my m is going to be 1/3. Don't need this b. I need to use these numbers to plug it in. So 3 is going to be equal to 1/3 x, and then, sorry, not x. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Times a -9 plus b. So I hate fractions. 1 divided by 3 is 0.3 repeating, and then we'll multiply that by a -9, and I get -3. So 3 is going to be equal to -3 plus b. And so I'm going to have to add 3 to each side. So b is then going to be equal to 6. So then when I rewrite it, just use these two right here. Y is equal to 1/3 x plus 6. And that one is good to go. All right, 15, last one here. Got to get it in a y equals format, so I'm going to have to minus x on each side. So I'll have a -6y. It's going to be equal to -x minus 2. Then I got to divide by -6. Remember, there's a 1 here, so this would be a -1 divided by -6, which would be, this would be a positive 1/6x, and then this just would be 2/6 or 1/3, but it doesn't matter because all I'm looking for is this slope right here. So my m is going to be a positive 1/6. Oh, sorry about that. What I need to do is, I know it's 1/6, but I need take the opposite and the reciprocal. So the opposite is negative 1 over 6, right? And then the reciprocal of negative 1 over 6 would be, the reciprocal, let me restart. I am making this much more confusing than it needs to be, okay? Okay, give me one quick second. All right. So after I've solved, so this is negative 6y is equal to negative x minus 2. I divide by negative 6, and I get 1 over 6x. And then I don't even care what this y is going to be at all, because this is just going to be y is equal to, all I'm looking for is this 1/6 x. The opposite of 1/6 is a negative 1/6. The reciprocal of a negative 1/6 is going to, the reciprocal of a positive 1/6 is going to be a negative 6. Then I need to look for b. So I'm going to plug it in with these numbers right here. So negative 5 is going to be equal to negative 6 times 0 plus b. These two need to be multiplied and they cancel out because they're zeros. So b is equal to negative 5. So my final answer is going to be y is equal to negative 6x minus 5. Sorry about the mix-up on that last one. If you do have any questions, let me know. See you tomorrow.